A lot of people that I know start learning a language and they're so excited at the beginning, but then they keep forgetting about it because life happens. Or maybe they start a language and then they don't know what to do because there's so many textbooks, so many tutorials on the internet, and then you feel lost. If that's you, in this video I'm going to give you 5 tips on how you can keep learning Portuguese and give you some strategies you can do to do so. Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Daniel. I'm an online Portuguese tutor from Rio de Janeiro, and on this channel I help you speak Portuguese and give you insights about Brazilian culture and society. Okay, so let's go to the tips. Tip number 0 is to actually set aside time for it. This may sound quite obvious, but it is extremely important. The reason for that is because consistency is key, and it is very easy for us to start doing something and then forget about it for a while because, life happens. But the thing is, the more you practice, the better. But ultimately, it doesn't really matter if you do it daily or once a week, as long as you do it for long enough. With that being said, I want you to take your phone and precisely choose a time to practice Portuguese. For example, if you want to do that daily, maybe you can do that for 20 minutes every day at 8 p.m. It's very important that it is a precise time and that you know for how long you're going to do it. Whatever you choose, make sure it's realistic and something that works for you. Remember, consistency is key. So, after you pick the time and maybe a place, I want you to get your phone and set up an alarm to remind you to do so. Trust me, this is extremely important. Did you do that? Speaking of using your phone, tip number 1 is to change your phone language to Portuguese. I know that might seem scary, especially if you're a beginner. However, chances are that you are already used to doing things in your phone without even paying attention to it. By doing so, you will be able to learn a lot of words instinctively and you will end up using Portuguese every day. If you come across something that you don't know the meaning of, you can always look it up, or you can always change your phone language back to English, or whatever language it was before. I highly recommend you give it a try. Tip number 2 is to listen to music and podcasts in Portuguese. Okay, so this is something that most of us do already. Let's say you like rock music. If you don't know how to find songs that you like, you can go to YouTube and type something like Brazilian rock music playlist. You can also do that in Portuguese, like Rock Brasileiro playlist. And if you don't know how to do that, you can just go to Google Translate and look it up. Something I like about learning languages with songs is that it can be done in a passive or in an active way by people of all levels of proficiency. For example, if you're a beginner, there might be a lot of words that you don't know and that can be quite overwhelming. However, you can just focus on the chorus or even learn a few words in the song. Remember, that's still progress. Our focus is not to be perfect, our focus is to make progress. By listening to music, you can also pay attention to how the words and sounds are linked together, and you should take notes of it if there is anything that catches your attention. Even if you don't have a lot of time, listening to music or podcasts is something that you can do passively. You can do that when you're tidying up your bedroom, when you're working out, when you're driving, when you're taking a shower, and so on. It doesn't have to require a lot of mental effort to do so. Tip number 3 is to keep a list of words that you learn. This is one of my favorites and something that I do for every language that I learn. You can do that online with the help of your preferred note-taking app, or you can do that with pen and paper if you like to be more old school. Whatever works best for you. With that being said, I want to teach you how you can take notes more effectively to help you understand and memorize the words in a better way. The first thing you want to avoid doing is to just write the word and the translation of it. Trust me, sometimes you don't even need to write the translation. The key here is to write a sentence that allows you to guess the meaning of the word. Let's say you don't know what triste means in Portuguese. If you don't know, that means sad. You can write something like this. Triste é o oposto de feliz. Sad is the opposite of happy. You can do that by writing the opposite of the word or sometimes synonyms and things like that. It's very important that you write the word as it was in the original source. The original source may not always be correct. For example, if you're listening to a song, there might be a lot of inconsistencies with the language for artistic purposes, but it's still very important to learn. By doing so, you can also measure your progress. I know that it's very hard to measure how much you learn, but you can measure how much effort you put in. And that's something that's going to motivate you as well. I personally use Google Docs, so I write down all the words that I learned. And when I feel like I'm stuck or like I didn't make any progress, I just go back to the document and I see a bunch of words that I learned, and that keeps me motivated to keep going. I could keep talking about methods you can use to take more effective notes. If you think I should make a video about that, type notes down below and subscribe to my channel so you can stay updated. Tip number 4 is to hire a tutor. This may sound like an expensive option, but I want you to know that this can be available for a lot of budgets. You can choose tutors that charge less, or even commit to meeting each other once a week or bi-weekly. You can also take group classes. They're very beneficial. You're gonna be having classes with people that have the same interests as you, and they're often cheaper than one-on-one. Hiring a tutor will allow you to speed up your learning process and have some guidance and accountability. Ideally, your tutor is someone that will be able to spot your mistakes and help you correct them, and come up with strategies that are suitable for your level of proficiency in your goals, while taking into account your preferences. By hiring a tutor, you may also get cultural insights and nuances that may not be covered in textbooks, and you're much more likely to keep motivated and get consistent practice since you're paying for it. You can find tutors on several platforms on the internet, or if you would like, you can also hire me. You can get in touch with me by sending me a message on my website www.portuguesewithdan.com, or through my Instagram, which I'm gonna be leaving on my description. Tip number 5 is to journal in Portuguese. Journaling in Portuguese is an excellent way to practice your writing skills and express yourself in the language. This activity allows you to use the vocabulary and the grammar you've learned in a more personal and meaningful way. You can start by writing simple texts. For example, you can make a list of the things that you're going to do today. You can write your thoughts, your goals, and if you want, you can also switch back and forth between Portuguese or English or whatever your native language is. Let's say you want to say, I liked my day. You don't know how to say liked in Portuguese, but you know how to say I and day, which is eu e dia. So you can just write like, eu liked meu dia. You know, you don't have to be perfect. The purpose here is to get practice. Over time, you're going to improve your Portuguese and you're going to get better. As you progress, you can challenge yourself to write longer entries or write about more complex topics. I don't know, maybe you have an opinion that you would like to share, and then you can write about that in Portuguese. So yeah, don't worry about making mistakes. The goal is to practice and improve over time. Okay guys, so I hope you liked this video. If you want more videos like this, subscribe to my channel so you can stay updated. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.